Are you tired of hearing mental health from a superficial view and you want to hear about realistic views? Well, you come to the right place. A space where healing is central, but also normalized. Your hosts, Danica and Myra, who are in the mental health field, will explore topics that help promote healing in your everyday life. Through our podcast, you will get the real and the work to focus on your healing. Welcome.
Hey y'all, we're back again with a new episode, week 3. I know last week y'all were probably confused because I said that we were on the 3rd episode last week, but before summer officially ended, we wanted to, touch on body insecurities and kind of just talk about hot girl summer, city girl summer real quick. But now we're back again with our real 3rd episode, the real official 3rd episode. And this week we're talking about traveling and how we incorporate that into our healing process. But as usual, we're going to start it off with a scenario.
All right. So we're going, okay. This is, y'all, when I'm coming up, we coming up with random scenarios, it's literally random. So in my head right now, what I'm thinking is, okay, so Myra, say if you were talking to a guy and you had known him for a month and he told you that he wanted to take you on a trip to anywhere you wanted to go in the world. Mm-hmm. Would you go?
Can I bring my friends?
Nope, just you.
Oh my gosh. How long have we been dating?
You've been knowing him for 30 days.
Oh no, I'm sorry. See, the traveler in me is very tempted to go, but the scared Myra me is like, no, don't be stupid, girl. So I am definitely not gonna go unless he tells me I can bring my friends, or yeah, I'm gonna bring my friends. No, what if he tries to kill me or kidnap me?
I might go.
You said you would go?
I might. Well, yeah, it depends on what was going on. It depends on everything. Like if it was real deal or random, I would talk to somebody and somebody would talk me to thinking more thoroughly, because my immediate would be like, yes, of course, I bet you anywhere in the world. Like, look, yes, I'll go. But then I'll talk to somebody and they'll talk to me how you just did, kind of like, you don't know this person, and then I wouldn't go, because that's just what grown people do.
Exactly. Okay, so this week, y'all, we're gonna talk a little bit about traveling. So where have you traveled to?
I've traveled to, in the United States, I've been to New York, I've been to DC, I've been to Atlanta, Tennessee, Florida, obviously California, Oregon.
Okay, girl, you done been everywhere.
I've been, in the United States, and we gonna talk about that.
But you done hit every state.
I've been to a lot of states, and the only place I've been to, I've been to Puerto Rico, which y'all know it's a part of U.S. territory. I've been to Puerto Rico twice. Okay. And I've been to Mexico twice. But Mexico, we lived in San Diego, or I lived in San Diego. Myra still does. And when, Mexico's right there, you can literally walk across. So it's not that it's not a big deal. It's just easier access, where it doesn't really feel like I'm traveling to a different country. So I really feel like I haven't been to no countries outside of the United States. What about you, Myra? What 30,000 places you done been?
So as far as states, I love the East Coast. So I've gone to New York. I've tried to go at least once a year for the past few times that I have been. So I've been to New York a few times. I've been to DC. I've been to Philly. I've been to Florida. I've been to Washington. And as far as countries, I would say that I've been to Thailand, Costa Rica. I've been to Ethiopia. I've been to Canada. I've been to Puerto Rico. And I've also been to Cuba.
Oh my goodness! Bye.
Salvador. I can keep on going, but yeah, I've been to those places. I'm trying to do the 30 by 30, so yeah.
Well, yeah, talking about traveling, it makes me want to travel more, but it makes me understand that, for a lot of people, it's not as easy, especially to travel out of the country. I think for me, even traveling in the United States is hard for a lot of people, especially if you broke, or if it's not even, a lot of times not even about being broke, it's just not understanding of the resources to travel, or just being scared of different right. So it's other factors, but for me, for sure, at this point, I think it's been it's money, and it's also not having folks to go with.
Okay. I think that those two things can be solved though, because as far as money, if you know how to find budget-friendly trips, that's a check there. And when it comes to going with somebody, you can travel solo to most of the places I named. Maybe not some of them, but most of them. You could travel solo and be completely fine.
Where have you been? Have you been to any of them solo?
I went to Puerto Rico solo. Puerto Rico is my least favorite place to visit, though. I did not enjoy it there. Yeah. But yeah, I went there solo for a few days, and then my roommate, she caught up with me because she had like a 12-hour layover in Miami, and so like her flight was like behind mine by like 2 days, so we caught up with each other. But originally I was there by myself, just roaming around the streets like I lived there.
Well, I mean, I think it takes a lot of courage to, just put yourself out there. But what would you say your favorite trip was?
I think it's a tie between Cuba and Thailand, I would definitely say. I think Cuba, just because Cuba is a place where like you can't really use your phone. You have to go to a Wi-Fi park if you want to use your phone. So you got to be searching for that Wi-Fi. You got to find somebody that's going to sell you a $7 Wi-Fi card, and you got to hope that it's going to work out. So you're like really unplugged and you're tapped in. Like you got to talk to the people. Even though I didn't meet anybody that spoke English until my last day. So that was interesting.
You didn't?
No, and it's crazy because I don't speak Spanish, but when I was there, I was like, carry on conversations with no issue. Crazy. Then I get back here and people speak to me in Spanish. I'm just like, no comprende. Crazy, right? Right.
Do you think it's because you were forced to speak their native tongue?
Yes. But then my friend, she was like, she was struggling. She was like on her Google Translator for every little thing. And I was like, girl, that's going too slow. Like, you just got to try and figure out what the hell they're trying to say. And that's what I just kept doing, like trying to figure out what they were trying to say. And they're real patient people. Like, if you didn't understand something, they would repeat themselves 50 times and they didn't care. Like, they don't care about time because they're like living the moment.
That is another great thing to talk about. When you travel, you get to see how different people live, and you recognize that the way that you live is, one, not the only way, but a lot of times not the best way to live, or it's not it doesn't feel as good. Like you just saying that, talking about, oh, they not just in a rush because they kind of on their own time. Oh my goodness.
Right.
That sounds in itself kind of healing, just to be able to take in the moment and really listen to what somebody else is saying, to be able to figure it out and not be rushed like you gotta get somewhere. Are you gonna not be able to live.
Yep, definitely. So then I want to ask you, in these times that you've traveled, have you found that you found more peace during your vacations or during this time of travel? Did you ever experience any sense of like peace in any moments?
Yeah, I think that the times that I've traveled, I think it always makes me feel, it's not really peace, but it's like for me, it's like a rush because you on flights, you moving, and then you go into this new place. It's kind of like I just feel like a lot of excitement.
Okay.
And like I've learned to incorporate that kind of peace day, because even when you're traveling, you moving so fast.
Right.
A lot of times you only getting a short period of time in this place. You gotta, depending on what type of person you are, you got an itinerary of things you want to do. I want to try out this place, the food place. I want to try out this what's it called, excursion.
Yeah.
It's like all of these things you planning,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes you forget to do the relaxing things by like literally just, especially if you like going somewhere with a beach, going on a beach and just taking some time, and not like 15 minutes, like literally take some hours just to be there and be with nature, listening to the ocean. For a lot of people, is healing in itself, or it's peaceful, relaxing. That's the word I'm looking for. It's relaxing in itself. So I think that I've learned to incorporate those days where it's like, yes, I do want to go out and I do want to try the food and I want to try all these places that people talk about, but I also want to incorporate what's going to be peaceful for me, which is usually something like a spa, or a massage, or like I said, if it's a beach or some type of water, even if it's like a lake or something, that's relaxing too.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting that you think of it that way. I think my vacations have been a little different just because, like, if you ever travel out of the country, then you'll see, like, when it comes to excursions, yeah, I do them, but I always try to look and see, like, how am I going to interact with the people? And I found that to be the most peaceful part for me, because I think about, like, specifically, like, going back to Cuba. There's this guy I met there named Daniel, and Daniel's like one of my friends now. I went to Cuba like 3 years ago, I want to say. And we like had this whole conversation about like books. And the book that I was reading at the time was The Alchemist. And I've never finished that book. Like, people love that book, but I just could never get into it. But I understood the purpose of the book. And so it was that book. And then my favorite book of all time is like The Four Agreements. And so I have both of those books. And
You know
what?
that?
The Four Agreements?
Yeah, who wrote that?
Isn't it Don Ruiz Miguel?
I don't know. That's on my book list though, girl. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's like 10 times. So, like, I firmly am a believer of The Four Agreements. That's one of my favorite books. And so, at the time, like, I don't know how the conversation came about, but he was like, tell me about the books that you're, like, reading. So, I'm like, okay. So, I told him about The Alchemist, but basically, I told him, like, I'm not really reading the book. I can't get into it. I've been trying to read this book for, like, 4 years. And, like, I can't get into it. It just doesn't intrigue me. But I told him the purpose behind the book, and then we started going into the conversation about the Four Agreements, which of course I'm real passionate about. So I was like really breaking the book down for him. And when I tell you, this is like the most engaging conversation ever, because when people are not from the US, they're intrigued by what we have. So like when it comes to like literature and things like that, like they want to learn English and they want to learn like certain things about our culture. But when it comes to something deep, they're really interested, or so the people I've met have been. So we had like a real interesting conversation about that. And he just started to tell me about how he lives like his day-to-day life. And something that he told me that like really stuck out for me was, I live my life on a day-to-day basis. So for him, when he makes money that day, the money is for the day. So he's like, I live every day on a day-to-day basis. Like, he was like, yeah, I just got a new job and I'm starting tomorrow at 6 a.m. Mind you, we were like talking at like 10 a.m. He was like, yeah, I'm tired. I have to go home to my daughter, but I believe in living in the moment. And I just met you. So let's have these conversations. I wouldn't pass this moment by. And from then on, I was like, wow, that's something to think about. Like, living day to day. Like, what are you looking forward to throughout the day? Or what are you letting come to you throughout the day? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Connecting with people.
It is. It's so many other factors that causes us in, you know, America to not be able to do that. And we most definitely will have a show about capitalism and how that impacts us too. But you know, even if we can't fulfill like not being able to have a stable job, I think it says something about just living in the present moment. Being able to like this man said that Myra was talking to, you know, okay, I do got to go work at 6 a.m, but it seems like this conversation that I'm having right now, it sounds like that it's something I need to be present in a moment with. Yep. And look what they got from it. You know, now you got a new friend and you talk to somebody who has the same interests as you. And I'm pretty sure he got a lot from that conversation too.
Oh yeah. He still talks about it. And this was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Hey, right. Check that out. But yeah, like I with traveling, y'all, last year I was able to travel a lot, even though it was, again, like I'm saying, just in the United States. I got to travel a lot last year, and I had more money. And then this year, I got into a wreck, and at the like half of the year, and then so for the rest of this year, I feel like I can't go nowhere. Like every penny I have, I feel like it needs to go towards other things. And I've noticed that since I haven't been traveling, I've kind of been like, I feel like I'm missing something. Like I have the urge to travel so bad. Like today at work, I was looking at plane tickets, knowing I'm not going nowhere, but I want to. And I think that says something too. Like once you do start traveling, how if you don't have the access to do it anymore or you're not doing it, how it can impact you too, because you're used to doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes some type of getaway. You know, it is. And so I'm noticing that now that I'm not, I'm like, I actually, that's a part of like my self-care lightweight.
Yeah.
So
for me, heavyweight, I mean, I make sure that I travel every 6 months. Like I have to do it. I mean, I think it gives me something to look forward to, because I was literally just in an interview the other day and they were like, what do you like to do for fun? And I was like, either I'm going hiking or I'm traveling, and I have to travel somewhere every 6 months. And I like for it to be like a meaningful trip. I don't want it to be like a half-ass trip where it's just like, oh, I saw the plane ticket, I bought it, I don't even know where I'm going, but you know, it was cheap, so I'm going to go. Like, no, I like to be like, for example, I made a vision board, and it's crazy because I was looking at my vision board and literally I went to every place on my vision board except for like Italy. And so I was like, this is pretty cool, because I had on there, go to a random island, forgot Hawaii was an island, so I was able to go. And then along with a few other places, and I didn't get to go to Iceland either. So I had like a few places plus Iceland and Italy, which I didn't get to go to. But it gives me something to look forward to, because like when I'm having like a rough day, I just imagine myself at these places. And then when I'm at the place, I'm just like, I'm finally here, like I was imagining, finally. So I think it's a good time to reset too. Like I make sure, and I think that it's important, like if you're like going through stuff, or if you know that traveling is your self-care, make sure you have some things in place that you know are going to help you reset. So for me, for example, whenever I travel, I always have like my favorite book or a meaningful book. So when I have downtime, I read it. If I'm going somewhere, I usually travel places that are tropical. It's very rare I don't. So I usually take my book to read on the beach. I usually take my journal if I'm going somewhere. Because to be somewhere that you've imagined, that's manifestation at its finest. So that's a perfect time to journal out like, damn, I manifested this and I'm actually here. What? So what else can I manifest now that I'm at the place that I manifested? I think that it's cool when you like manifest something somewhere and you go back to that place and manifest more and more. It's very powerful. So getting in place like some of those things that like help you out. If you're somebody who loves to eat, because I know for me, I like certain spices that like make me feel comforted, or certain flavors make me feel comforted inside. So look in to see if the place that you're traveling to has those foods, so you could try them out and see how they make you feel. Just a few things. Yeah.
Wow, manifestations and manifestations. That's a word. That is a word. Yeah. And also you talking about even how like the things that we eat sometimes, how that makes us feel. So being able to try different foods like in different places, and how that can impact your like mental health too.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep. That's deep.
Have you tried anything that was interesting when you traveled? Like, were you like, oh, I tried this and I was like, oh.
I tried alligator in New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah. So
Okay.
I had it grilled and I had it fried.
I can't get myself to try it. I can't. I can't do it.
It's good. I mean, I think anything you have in New Orleans is gonna be good. Anyways, you could literally you could have anything in New Orleans.
Yeah, I know. My family's trying to drag me. I went earlier this summer, and my family, my aunt has been on this thing where she's like buying houses in New Orleans because she's like making good money now. Yeah, and she's like, I'm just gonna buy houses and make them into Airbnbs. And she's like, bring all your friends, come back. And they're trying to have me come back, and I'm like, I'm so excited to go back for the food, but I'm like, what they finna have me trying? Because they can have me trying everything.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to skip away from like I feel like one of the biggest things when it comes to traveling is like the people you travel with,
Right?
And how that can in itself like dictate how the trip is going to go.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about a time or can you tell us how you've navigated if you've been on a trip with somebody that you just not like, you know, you're not clicking with and y'all just don't want to do the same things and they actually making this trip stressful?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when I went to Puerto Rico, because I travel with the same person. So like if you know me, you know I always travel with my close friends, Candace. I've been friends with her since 9th grade. And she's one of those people, like our personalities mesh well together. Because if I say, oh, Candace, I want to do X, Y, and Z, she's like, yeah, I'm going to do that, but you're going to do what I want to do too, right? So that's how she is. But usually we always want to do the same things. And she's like a very vibrant personality. Like she gets along with anybody, so it works out. So I stick to her. But I think back when I went to Puerto Rico, this is my first time going anywhere. And the person I went with was like, they only want to do things for pictures and they only wanted them a certain way. Yeah. And they were just like so scared of everything. And I was like, this is the worst trip I have ever been on in my life. Like, and I'm just starting out traveling. So, I mean, I had only been to New York, never been anywhere with my family besides Vegas. So I only been to New York. That's like a side story why I went there. But moving on to Puerto Rico, it was just a random flight that I found for like dirt cheap. So, and she got it as a gift. So I went with her. Worst time of my life. Oh my God. All we did was like, I went to the museum, we went to the beach, and then we went to like El Yunque, the waterfall, and then we went to like, they had like a nighttime festival that we went to. Like it was like in an alley, but it was really pretty. Worst trip ever. I was like, I will never travel with this person again. This is not cool. So then moving on to like traveling with Candace, why did we travel? It was like my birthday or something. She had like just started traveling, and I was like, I just started traveling too. I had just got back from the Dominican Republic. And I was like, let's go to Thailand. And she was just like, no, was it Thailand or Cuba? I think it was Cuba. Oh, I was like, let's go to Cuba. No, she said, let's go to Cuba actually for my birthday. And I was just like, I don't know. So her friend happened to be from there. So his family was from there. And we ended up going. And from that trip, I was like, yeah, we're travel sisters. Like we always say we're travel sisters. Like she lives in the Bay and I live in Southern California, but if we going somewhere, we traveling together. Like right now, we're planning to go to a few parts of Africa later on next year. So like we're saving up for that. But I stick to what I know, and that's my girl.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like that you kind of had to go through a bad experience to know what you did want from a travel buddy or whatever. Yeah, I think it's hard because like, you know, I'm happy for you that you have this travel buddy, but everybody don't have those and can't find that person. Like I know for myself, like I haven't been able to find that person to travel with. And
what you mean?
Well, I got you now too, but you got a travel sister. We went somewhere and we had a good time. That's true. We did. It wasn't bad, but basically I'm just trying to figure out how to help people to like really explore what type of person or people they want to travel with, and how even if you having a bad time, like, because we don't know, we can't predict that we're gonna have a bad time with somebody. It could be your best friend and y'all never went nowhere together, and then y'all go and y'all like, this is not the move. So if you in that situation, how do you still like be able to enjoy your trip? Or is it over? You know what I'm saying? You just
it's definitely, it depends on the person. I've had friends who have, I've traveled with more than just my friend Candace. I'll say that. And all my friends have always said, you're like the perfect person to travel with because you get up early, you do everything, you never go to sleep, you do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. But I want to say this, and even separate this from traveling, and this is just life in general. The self-love journey and the healing journey starts with yourself. And if you want to move forward in life, you have to be comfortable with spending time with yourself. So that could mean spending time with yourself where you live. That could mean spending time with yourself when you travel. And I know that for me, I went through like my self-love journey when I was like, I want to say 20 going to 21. No, between 20 and 22. It took me about 2 years. I'm not fully there, but that's a period in my life where I was just like, I'm not spending enough time by myself because it's too uncomfortable. What's up with that? So I purposely started spending more time with myself, and I'm like at the phase now where I like both spending time with people and I also like spending time by myself. But I take that, I want y'all to take that and think about when you travel, you could go places by yourself. There are Facebook groups that you can easily research. If you're Black, you could type in Black solo traveling groups, Black diva traveling group, travel group. And in these groups, all you got to do is type in a question, and easily people will reply and be like, oh, X, Y, and Z. If you say, can I travel such and such alone? People will reply to you. They'll give you advice on places to go, people to connect with, etc. So yeah, I would say travel by yourself. If you're with a friend or somebody and you're not having the best time, research how you could do things outside of you and your friend. There's nothing wrong with that. And let your friend know, like, hey, I've been dreaming. Let's say you went to Paris or something. I've been dreaming about coming to Paris. I really want to see the Louvre. It seems like you don't really want to go there, but I'm gonna go there. This is the time I'm gonna be there. Let's do a check-in. You could say that real nicely, and it'd be perfectly fine. So yeah.
Y'all, I'm learning. I hope y'all listening to Myra, because I'm learning and I'm listening, and I'm already in my head like, you know what? That's gonna be the thing for me. I'm gonna plan a trip by myself.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be this year, but it's gonna happen, and I will share with you all my journey. Obviously once I get back, because I'm not gonna be worried about y'all out there. But once I get back, hopefully y'all still be tuned in, and I'll share my journey with y'all. Hopefully you all listen to this and also feel like y'all want to do the same thing. And I hope that y'all can share y'all journeys with us as well, and other Black women and women or people who are following our social media handles.
I think in the future it'd be dope if we could do like a Black women's healing retreat. That'd be real dope.
That part.
I was thinking about that earlier today. That's the crazy part, because I was like, I could really see it being like real dope.
Yes, manifestation.
Yes, definitely.
That will happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the book we're gonna talk about today. So since we're talking about traveling, it's only right to talk about a book to talk about traveling. And so this book is called I Tried to Travel It Away by Ashley S. McGirt, and she's a MSW, which is a master social worker. And in this book, she talks about that let me just read it. I Try to Travel It Away, written by a licensed mental health professional, aims to help those who travel and those who wish to travel get their mental health in order through forgiveness, self-care, and mindfulness practices, such as deep breathing exercises. In reading this book, you will learn how traveling can impact your overall mental health and wealth, while finding ways to keep the excess baggage is like lies, guilt, shame, and burdens, at home. This book offers effective mental health tips to help you maintain your sanity before, during, and after a trip. If you find yourself constantly saying, I need a vacation, Ain't that what I just said, y'all? This book is for you. If you travel at least once a year, this book is for you. If you travel more than 5 times a year, this book is definitely for you. That's my rule. I Try to Travel It Away aims to help you create a life you do not have to travel away from. Travel because you want to, not because you have to. Yes, Ashley.
I like how she said that. Like, although we are talking about traveling, we aren't trying to, I mean, we are, but we're not trying to push y'all to travel. You know what we should actually do? Like, if y'all have any questions about traveling, y'all should ask me. I've been thinking about starting that into a business, but you know what? I'll help out our followers and I'll help y'all out with traveling. If y'all need help or tips, one tip I will give y'all before I share with y'all some discounts, I save $50 a month for my travels. So I put $50 a month into a little side account that I like never touch. Yeah. And then once the time hits where I want to take a vacation, I check in on the account. And if I have enough to cover, cool. If I have enough to add to it to cover wherever I want to go, cool. I usually go to cheap places though. So yeah. But anyway, so that's that. So a few discounts on some flights this week that I've seen. So right now China is between $300 to $400, which is going to end probably real soon because China ain't never that cheap. So y'all want to check that out. It covers about 10 different states that I saw. And I also have been seeing Kenya. Now Kenya has been on sale for like a few months now, and I've been thinking about going for my birthday. And I've been seeing it at $600. So I don't think it's going down anytime soon, but y'all want to be careful because when it gets close to Thanksgiving, flights do go up. I also have been seeing Morocco, which is like my number one. I have to go to Morocco next year. That's been between $600 to $900, which is unheard of. Morocco is usually like $1,200 or $1,300. So if I want a flight, y'all better hop on that. If you're trying to stay local, you can check out Catalina Island. That's like between $40 and $50 I saw on Groupon. You're probably like, what the hell am I going to do in Catalina Island? So people drive golf carts there. They don't really drive cars. If you like a good workout, I would rent a bike and you can ride all around the island. It's very limited food places, but it's a cool little day getaway. So that's something to check out. So you know how we've been wanting y'all to do homework, and we want to give y'all a takeaway. So something to think about is how can you possibly travel? Can you make a budget to do so? But if you're not thinking about traveling, how can you get comfortable with yourself as far as like being alone and possibly traveling alone? So 2 things to think about. Possibly spending some alone time this week, and what is that like? Could you maybe take that into international travels? Could you maybe take that into traveling statewide? And then the other one for our folks who are like, I don't want to do that one, look into how you can possibly make out a trip for yourself. And if you have questions, we want y'all to ask us and we want to engage with y'all. Do you have anything to add?
No, I'm so excited for this takeaway. I think it's a great takeaway that, you know, everybody who's listening and ourselves, we can, you know, really take away and follow and practice.
All right, y'all. So that is the end of this week's episode. And be sure to tell a friend, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell everybody to check us out. And please make sure that you are subscribing to all of our platforms. We on everything now. And stay tuned because we'll be having an exciting announcement on our next pod. Peace. Thank you for tuning into today's podcast. Be sure to drop a comment on any of our platforms or even shoot us an email. We will be back next Monday. Make sure to tell a friend and tell a friend. That is it for today's Black Women's Healing Pod.